Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I am in IL-2 Stormovik Great Battles version 4.006, which is by far the most fantastic update for IL-2 yet. It brings to the game the deferred renderer, which I asked them about how it exactly works, and I was talking to the guys at 1C, and they were telling me, because I was like, how did you guys achieve better VR performance out of what was already awesome? And they said, well, it probably has a lot to do with your video card. If you have a high-end video card, what's going on is that the rendering tasks are being pushed more onto the GPU now than the CPU. Before, it took a lot of the CPU and the GPU combined, but now if you have a high-end GPU, it's going to pass along those tasks to that, and that's probably why I have better performance. Makes sense because I have a 2080 Super and an i9 9900K. So that's pretty awesome news, and that explains why my VR performance skyrocketed a bit, and it also explains why the basic performance in IL-2 is, everything looks better with the new renderer as well, but also my performance actually got better, which is pretty cool. So, in addition to all the 87 fixes, changes, and stuff that they added with 4.006, they also added support for two new collector's planes that they had recently released, which is the YAK-9 and the YAK-9T. What we're looking at right now is the basic YAK-9 SER1, I'm guessing stands for Series 1. Let's take a look and see what we can get with the regular YAK-9 in terms of modifications and what kind of skins it has. Okay, here we are in the modifications screen. Let's take a look at what modifications we have available for the YAK-9. Looks like we got a compass, a landing light, a mirror. I'll take the mirror, why not? And the reflector gun sight. The reflector gun sight's rather nice. It's much better than the basic gun sight that they give you. Let's take a look at the paint schemes. That looks rather cool. This one looks really nice. Eagle in a circle for brother. Of course, my favorite is Jaws because I love any plane that has flames or teeth on it. It's just my thing, I guess. Guards for Motherland and Gray. I'm picking Jaws. Let's go with that. Let's see what we can do with this beast. Going in. This guy's cruising. There we go. Come on. Let's catch his ass. There we go. Going down. Very nice. Let's take a look at this plane now. Pretty striking looking plane. I like the guns because it looks like the cannon is in the middle of the propeller and then the gun's right above it. Notice how the shells eject from underneath where the wing meets the fuselage there. Pretty cool. Outstanding. And it looks like these guys have really been paying attention when it comes to the textures, because just look at all the details all the way down to the tips of the wings. All the scratches around the area where the pilot would be getting in and out of the cockpit, from where you step all the way up around the close to the glass, about maybe 7 inches down away from the glass there on the fuselage. Fantastic detail. These guys have really upped their game. I think they're paying attention to what the guys at DCS are doing and continually try to improve their own game. I mean, just look at that. Absolutely fantastic. Casings just fly out of there. Look at all the scratches there where the pilot would be getting in and out. It's a real pretty model overall. Let's take a look around the cockpit now. Really can't find anything to complain about. It looks great, as one might expect. I mean, again, DCS is just a hair better in the cockpit detail level area, but, you know, these guys do a fantastic job in IL-2 as well. Just a different art style. And again, I think they're getting damn close to what Eagle Dynamics has been doing, you know? They really pay attention, and every one of these, you know, new, I don't know what you want to call them in IL-2, modules or campaigns, you know, between Stalingrad and Bodenplatte and Kuban. All these new add-on products, I guess you can call them. With every new one they release, they definitely up the detail, up pretty much everything. And it shows, it really does. It looks amazing. Now notice the difference. I have the YAK-9 Series 1 highlighted right now, and that's off to the right. Now when I highlight the 9T, notice how it changes. The 9T looks like the cockpit is shoved back a little further. The wingtips look like they're bent up a little more. And the propeller looks a little bit different too. So I'm no expert on warbirds and World War II planes, so I don't know exactly what the main differences are between these two at the moment, but it's pretty obvious that the cockpit sits in a different area. The wingtips look a little bit bent upwards, but I don't know how that affects the plane in general. Let's take a look and see what our options are for the 9T. Modifications. Okay, so the main difference is there's an ammo counter. Adds 1 kilogram. Let's just take it. I don't know how that's going to help me. I don't know what a gun ammo counter is or what it's needed for. Maybe it just tells me how many shells have been expended. Reflector gun sight. I like that instead of the basic one. Let's take a look at the skins now. So, Black Hawk, which is really cool. Popov, Shudrin, that's nice. Lion, from Kashira School Children, whatever that is. Meshenkin, Free Donbass, Bitsayev, Shark, of course you know I'm probably going to take that one because it's got teeth, and Gray. But you know what, I want to do something a little different. Let's go Popov. Come on. There we go. A couple solid hits on him. I'm keeping up with him pretty good here. Couple more solid hits. There we go. That's going to leave a mark. Very nice. There goes another one. Very nice. So I think either one of these planes are pretty freaking awesome. I mean, honestly, everybody knows I'm not the best pilot, and you could put something in my hands and I do well with it, then it must be a pretty damn good plane. It's either that or I'm actually getting a little better at this, but I would have to say it's probably just a pretty good plane. Definitely a pretty plane, though. So the cockpit does sit back a little further, and if you look at the wings, it looks like they bent them upwards a little bit more. There's definitely some subtle differences between the T and the regular YAK-9. It's definitely a really pretty plane. I think I like the T a little bit better than the regular YAK-9, but haven't spent enough time with both of them to really say for certain. But I think this one looks a little cooler. Seems like it's almost a little bit more aerodynamic because the cockpit's sitting back further. Oh, we get some bad guys down here too that probably shouldn't be here. So it seems to do pretty good at strafing ground targets too. Although I didn't see any rockets or bombs or anything like that under modifications that were armable for it. So it's clear that this is probably just an air-to-air platform more than anything. But again, I seem to do pretty good strafing with it. Very nice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My favorite target in all of IL-2, a train. Whoa, how did I miss that? Boy, did I get lucky. did a little damage to it. It's shooting back at me. Well, the locomotive is still going. Bunch of stuff on the road over here. Oh, look at him run. Oh, he ran into a building trying to escape me. Very good. He's going in. Boom. Destroyed. Hey, mission accomplished. And technically that was called a successful landing. How about that? Not bad. 5 heavy weapons, 3 railroad, 2 vehicles, and 3 planes. For me, that's a pretty good mission result. Picking up a little bit. Come on. So close. There we go. Whoa. And he's going in. So, in use, the primary differences between the YAK-9 and the YAK-9T is that the YAK-9 has a 20mm cannon and a 12.7mm gun, and the YAK-9T has a 37mm cannon and a 12.7mm gun. And the 9T, since it has a heavier nose, the cockpit sits back about 1.5 feet further than the regular 9. And it also looks like the 9T's wings were bent a little bit differently, but those are the primary differences between the two. Which makes the 9T better at taking out tanks, because from what I understand it can take out up to 30mm of armor on tanks due to that 37mm cannon that it has. So those are the real differences that come to mind. After looking it up, I had seen that they had said that the 9T should handle a little differently, but I didn't see any huge differences. But, you know, I didn't sit there and try to pick it apart either between the two. Flying both of them seem very capable fighters to me, and I've had a blast with them. So overall, that is the YAK-9 and the YAK-9T, and they are the 2 new collector's planes from IL-2 Great Battles. They should be available on the standalone version, and I'm not so sure about the Steam version and when they're going to be available, or if they are yet, because I really don't pay that much attention to what's going on over there on Steam that much. I tend to spend my money on the standalone versions of all simulations because I figure it gives the developers more money in their pocket instead of having to pay Steam a cut. So all of the IL-2 products that I own are on the standalone versions, and on DCS I do the same thing. So that's about all I got on these planes for the moment. As you can see by the video here, the 9 is a lot of fun to fly. It's very capable.
air-to-air platform. And even the 9 does pretty good at strafing some targets. The 9T, however, is clearly designed with that larger caliber cannon, and it really does a number on some tanks quite well, and ground targets in general. And in the air, it really puts a hurting on stuff. So that 37mm really packs a punch. And like I said, some have said that, you know, the 9T is a little bit harder to handle versus the 9. I didn't see a huge difference, but I didn't tear it apart scientifically and try to see, you know, which one was actually better. I just flew around with it for a while and had fun. But overall, both of these planes, $20 collector's planes, I think they're pretty cool. If I had to choose between the two, I would probably say the YAK-9T. I've seen some talk about it, and there was a couple of people saying the engine was better in the 9 versus the 9T, and since it's a little lighter, that makes it better in the air-to-air role, which makes sense to me. So if you are primarily an air-to-air guy, I would say the YAK-9 is probably your best bet. If you enjoy taking out some ground targets with a pretty big-ass gun that packs a punch, and don't mind being a little bit gimped in the air, I guess. Again, I didn't feel like it was any worse than the 9, but others may be able to, you know, find those subtle differences that I don't pay attention to, and find that the 9T is actually a little less effective in the air-to-air role than I thought. But I like the 9T. I think it's the more fun of the two because I like big guns, and it was a lot of fun taking out tanks and ground targets and stuff like that in the 9T. And again, these are $20. They're over on the IL-2 Great Battles page. I'm not sure if these are on Steam yet. I would think they are, but I don't pay that much attention to what's going on over at Steam all that much. But it's been a blast. I really enjoy both of these planes, and I think you will too. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. Until next time, guys.